Okay, so today's July 1st. Last month, actually, I'll tell you the backstory first. Yesterday, I was walking back from the mosque and I realized that this is the most locked in I'm going to be in potentially a really long time. For the next month, in around 12 days, my parents are going to travel to Egypt. So I'll be alone with my sister, obviously, but my sister's not a distraction. Uh, my hair is always messed up. Um, so I'll be, sorry, one sec. I'll be alone, basically, locked in, no friends, no family except my sister, for 3 weeks until I go to Egypt. Um, and even before my parents leave, I could still be very locked in. I have a lot of time in the morning. So what I realized is I should aim to make $10,000 this month. Now, I've never made $10,000 in my life in a month. Um, the most I've done I think was around four or five. Um, and on average, I probably do like two, one and a half, two. So it's not like a crazy ambitious goal, right? It's just like it's one of those things that I just want to get over. You know what I mean? I want to set that goal. It was kind of like benching two plates a couple of months ago. It took me a while because I kept on getting close, but then I would kind of cut, and I never really had the goal of hitting two plates in my mind until I told myself, hey, like it's actually been long enough. Let me hit two plates. And so I just grinded at it for literally like 2 or 3 months, and alhamdulillah, I hit it. So it's the same thing, all right? The 10K benchmark is obviously it's a goal I'm gonna have to hit at some point. So why not do it now? Now, there's a couple of different aspects that are gonna go into this. First of all, I actually have to plan my life for the next month. This is not gonna be something that happens just like that. So there's a couple of different categories that I'm gonna cover, and the first and most important, obviously, spirituality, right? Deen, my connection to God, connection to Allah, and so on. Now, there is a book that I read last year. Let me find it. I read this last year. I probably should read it again, right? So this is a book called Rizq, Lawful Earnings, and it basically talks about like the prohibitions of what you should be doing when making money and all that stuff. So the foundations of earning, forbidden transactions, way of increasing earnings. So chapter 3 is really what's going to be the most important part, and obviously it talks about like the basics. Let me skip to chapter 3 actually. So page 81. So it talks about the basics like seeking forgiveness, making dua, and just a bunch of different hadith, taqwa, which is just general, becoming close to Allah, right? Giving charity, being grateful to Allah, joining the ties of kinship, performing Hajj and Umrah. Probably not going to do that this month because I just went. Tawakkul, marriage, inshallah. What else? Supporting the Islamic student of knowledge. That's interesting. Honesty in dealings, kindness to the poor, making the hereafter one's main concern, keeping away from sins, striving to achieve the goal. I don't know what the goal is, but basically I'm going to read this. But there is a couple of things that I need to set goals when it comes to. The first is tahajjud. So alhamdulillah, I've been pretty consistent with waking up 10 minutes before Fajr and praying witr then. So I need to keep that up, and I need to lock in with that, right? So like every single day, non-negotiable, I'm waking up, I'm making dua to Allah, hey, like allow me to reach this goal of mine, for His sake, obviously. That's the first thing. The second thing is charity. Now, obviously, charity increases risk, which means I'm going to make more money if I give away charity, which is why I think the target that I'm setting for myself is that every time I make money, 10% of whatever I make, automatically donated to charity. So, for example, I close a deal, $300, then and there I'm going to donate $30 out of my existing money. That should be fine. Out of my existing money. So that's kind of that's the tahajjud part, and that's the charity part. There's also one more thing, which is khushu' in salah. My khushu' is not great at all, to be honest, and it needs work. Now, I need to increase khushu' for the sake of it, not for the sake of making more money, but this is a good way of anchoring myself and saying, okay, let me pair them together. So what I'm thinking about doing is that every single day I'm going to upload a video. It's not going to be as long as this one, talking about what I've done so far in all the realms. So the deen, the actual work I've done, some secondary stuff like going to the gym and whatever, that will help me reach the goal of hitting 10K. And then in that video, I'm going to do a review of like literally every single salah and like what was my khushu'. Like I'm going to rate it on the notes app right after the salah. I'll be like, okay, I think this salah had khushu'. I'm like 6 out of 10. Here's what I should do next time. so on. And I'll include that in the video as a form of accountability. So that's the salah, that's the khushu' part. Right now, what I'm doing with Quran is pretty, I don't want to say sufficient. I'm reviewing, I basically have 3 sessions throughout the day. The first session is to review yesterday's juz, or yesterday and the days before. It's complicated. Just watch my video on how I'm maintaining my hifz or strengthening my hifz. And then I'm doing a new 10 pages, and then I'm doing like the khatma that I'm already on. It sounds complicated, but if you watch the video, you'll understand what I mean. But basically, I'm reading, let's say, like I'm doing like an hour and a half of Quran a day, alhamdulillah, which is good. I don't think that necessarily needs work on. Obviously, I could always do more, but just for the sake of this, I feel like it's already in a good position. So I feel like that's the deen side. And then obviously staying away from sins, like goes without saying. Like I need to be on my A game, lowering my gaze. Like alhamdulillah, I already lower my gaze as to a decent extent, but like obviously we could always be better. Like I'm going to the mall in like 30 minutes. I can't lie, the mall is fitna. The Mall of the Emirates specifically, it's like fitna. So like even if I try to lower my gaze, like it's still hard, right? Which is why I need to like lock in, eyes to the ground the whole time. So yeah, that's the lowering the gaze part, staying away from sins. And there's also enjoining ties of kinship. I'm thinking what I could do. I think I should call my grandparents, my grandmas more. So I'm thinking maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, I call both my grandmas. Because I haven't called one of them in a while. Now that I think about it, I should probably call her. So yeah. And I'll read this book again and just try to see if there's anything like specific I could add. And I'll talk about it in the next videos. And then taqwa is just general. So what can I possibly do to like get closer to Allah? I'm currently going through a series of what is it? A'mal al-Qulub. It's an incredible series. Right now it's talking about Tawbah. So I'll probably keep doing like 30 minutes of that per day. But anyways, that's kind of the deen part. That's the spirituality part. Now let's talk about the actual logistics. Actually, before the logistics, let me talk about something else, which is how I'm going to maximize my productivity. And really the thing I've been struggling with the most since I moved here for the summer is my sleep. I can't find like a rhythm that makes sense, but I think I have a general idea of what I could do. So the issue is Fajr is I need to wake up at 3:50 a.m. right, if I want to pray Fajr, or 4 a.m. 3:50 to pray Witr before. And then Isha is I'm back from Isha at like 9:15. Which means that if I go to sleep right after Isha and I wake up right before Fajr, the most amount of sleep I could possibly get is 6 hours. Someone might say, hey, that's a full night of sleep, but for me that's just not enough. So what I'm thinking, and I need to stay consistent with this, because if I mess it up once, then it's going to mess up the whole cycle, is that I get that 6 hours, I wake up, do like 3 hours of work, whatever, and then go to sleep for an hour and a half. So I get one more cycle, so that's 7.5 hours, and that's basically like all the sleep I need. Very theoretical, right? Actually, I haven't done this practically once. Yesterday, I did the 6 hours and then I just stayed up the whole day. But then today, I felt the effect of that. When I woke up after the 6 hours, I wanted to sleep. I ended up sleeping for like another 3 hours. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to try doing in terms of productivity. Really get all the work done in those early mornings. Obviously there's a hadith about the barakas at the early mornings, so I want to utilize that. So now let's talk about how I'm actually, inshallah, going to make the money. So let me actually talk to you about the motivation. So last month was the first month since I've worked for School of Yallah, which is over a year now. I actually started last June. So from last June to this June, last month was June. Last month was the first month where I didn't close a single deal. And I've been in a position similar in a couple, like some other months as well. I think October was one of them, or November, where like I thought I wasn't gonna close a deal, and literally in the last day or like in the last couple of days, I get a sale. So I just thought, hey, like it's inevitable. I've done like 15 calls. I'm gonna close a deal, inshallah. 2 of them got really close, but it didn't happen. And so I kind of realized like, wow, subhanallah. Last month I didn't make that much money last month. Now I made money through other ways because I have like a base fee based on the calls that I'm doing, and since I did 15, there's like basically I got $300 for that, and then there was another $300 from a deal from the month before that was a 2 payment. So the second payment came in, so I get that. And then like another deal was like a third payment, so I got like another, I think it's like $100 or 150, something like that. So I still made money, alhamdulillah, but it wasn't like a crazy amount of money. So I told myself, hey, like July, there's nothing going on in my life other than like the Quran that I'm revising and everything, and I have no friends here for the month. My family's gonna leave soon, so I need to lock in. So here's exactly, inshallah, how I'm gonna make the money. There's going to be two portions. The first portion is the work that I do with School of Yallah, so the sales that I do. And then the second portion is going to be the stuff that I do with Shigs. Let's talk about School of Yallah first. I feel like I could safely assume, obviously this didn't happen last month, but I think I could safely assume that I'm going to get 2 sales at least this month, inshallah, from just like School of Yallah leads. So Kareem hired a setter who's now DMing a bunch of people, and we're getting calls booked. We're getting at least, I don't know, like 2 calls booked a week. Sometimes they're not qualified, sometimes they are. So, but based on that, and based on the fact that there's just like a general lead flow from organic, I think I could assume that I could get 2 deals closed. 2 deals closed, let's say each is 10% commission, and then that will be $600. So $600. And then let's say I do complete the threshold for the base, like I do like, I don't know, 15 calls or whatever, or 20 calls. Then that'll be another 300. So now I'm on 900. Now here's the thing. I messaged Kareem yesterday and I told him, hey, like, have we done an email campaign for Elite Coaching, which is like the thing that I sell basically. And he's like, no, we haven't done one in like a really long time. And there's an email list of like 25,000 people, right? So a lot of potential there. So I told him, okay, I'm going to cook up like a email sequence, and then we'll try to get calls booked from there. So he's like, okay. And we've had discussions like this in the past where I do something on my own, and then based on that, because I'm getting the leads kind of booked on my own, I get like a higher commission. I think I could expect a commission of 20%. I don't know why he'd say no. Worst case, 15%. If he says no extra commission, which is not going to happen, but if he does, that's honestly going to suck. But yeah, I'm going to assume a 20% commission just because it's very likely, because he's given me that for less work in the past. So based on that, let's say I run a campaign and I get 10 calls booked and I close 2 of them, 3 of them. I feel like I could easily close, inshallah, like 3. And then again, we've done webinars in the past and we've only closed like 2. So let's just say 2 at like $600 each. But then what if someone buys for a year and then the commission's higher? But let's just say that's another $1,200. Then we're on $2,100. We need another 8,000. That's only assuming that I close 4, but if I work really, really hard, I could close more. And there could be another, like, if I close like a year, because I could either close them for 3 months, or I could suggest like a year, which is 6,000, so I get 10% or 20% of that, which would be $1,200. But it's hard to assume. But let's just say like $2,500 comes from. Holy, this is more difficult than I thought, but inshallah, it shouldn't be easy. So who cares? 2,500 comes from School of Yallah, which means I need another 7,500. My mom just came. 7,500 from Shigs, the work that I do with Shigs. So let me 800 USD 1,000. Okay. So right now the offer that I'm selling for Shigs is $1,000 on the dot, or $1,050, right? So if I need to make 7,500, then I need to sell basically 7 of them, or 8, 7 or 8 of them. Let's just say 8 to make the 10,000. Now, what I noticed is selling with Shigs is much easier because I'm the offer owner. There's more. There's also more emotions when I'm selling, just because it's like someone's child, they want to get the top grades, as opposed to someone that just wants to learn Arabic. So it tends to be an easier sell. That being said, the issue is lead flow. I need to figure out a way to actually get leads. So I do have an email list, and I've been thinking about running an email campaign for Shigs as well. It's an email list of around 5,000, but the issue is it's from like last year. A lot of them might have already done their GCSEs. So I don't know the exact nature of what the list is going to be like, and whether or not we could, whether or not I could actually get, leads out of it. But yeah, man, just gotta take action, right? So I feel like I'll do that for the first 2 weeks, while at the same time as well trying to get organic leads from, I think YouTube. I think I might do YouTube, but for parents, because I keep getting leads from like videos that I've done about parents, videos that I've done for parents. So yeah, obviously I can't predict the future, right? But if I were to kind of predict how I'm gonna make the majority of the money, I probably would say it's 30 to 40% from School of Villa, and then like 70% from Shakes. And I haven't even taken into account the fact that there might be like multiple, payment plans and all that stuff. But I need to do something hard, right? I can't expect this to be easy, right? But alhamdulillah, there's a path that's there. Obviously, I could always ask Allah and get closer to Him, inshallah, and as a secondary effect of that, I might reach my goal. So yeah, that's exactly how I'm going to try to hit $10,000 in the month of July of 2026. I might be looking back in this video saying, look at this goofball thinking he was going to hit 10,000, or I might have said, alhamdulillah, I did it. Either way, I'm not going to regret it, but I think it's going to open up my mind to what's possible. So yeah, that's the end of the video.